Hello, Paul.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm fine.
Mike.
This is Tucker, by the way.
We just introduced ourselves to each other.
Oh, good. Okay. Don't mind me. I'm just late coming to the party.
Good morning,
Hello,
everybody.
Mike.
Morning, Mike. Mike, this is
Hello.
Tucker.
How's it going today?
It's going fine. How you doing?
Doing good.
Oh,
And welcome, Mr. Smallwood. How are you today?
I'm well enough, thank you.
Very good. Are you hearing it through?
It's okay. That's fine.
All righty. I guess Chris might be joining us as well too. So see how long it takes for other people to show up.
well, we did say on the hour, so I'm expecting that's when it's probably going to be the most busy.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So,
There we-
So Paul, when you sent me that address, contained within that address was the information I'm accustomed to.
uh-huh.
When I just cut and pasted it in, it brought me to the right place.
There you go. I try to make it idiot proof. I guess it worked.
Right. I appreciate that.
So I had the pleasure of hosting Tucker in Vulcan, Alberta a couple of years back. And that was a real treat for me.
It was a good time for us as well, Paul.
So, okay, I see that
Chris is here
Chris is
eating
here.
lunch there.
Yeah. That's okay. Tucker's had his bagel, so he's good.
Indeed.
Oh, there
This
we
is
go.
breakfast for me.
Hello, Chris.
Oh, Chris.
Hello
Okay.
there.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Kind of tired, but we just finished last night. We wrapped up the Klingon Language Institute's 29th annual grand meeting.
Yeah, good.
Long.
How did that go?
It went very well. We had a lot of fun. Had some
Excellent.
guests and
Hmm.
some interesting panels and lots of fun, lively conversations and planning for the next year, 30th anniversary.
Great.
How's Dr. Ogrand?
He's doing well. He's doing
Nice
well.
to hear that.
Very good.
He just got back from his vacation. Like he was out of the country doing some traveling, and like right before the event started. So we were just
Vacation. And where is he?
now he's back in Washington, where he lives, Washington D.C. But he was somewhere else. I don't know where. I just know I got a message from him, and he's like, "I'm on the other side of the planet. Here's some new words," and I was just like, "Whoa, thank you very much." And so that was fun. Yeah, it was definitely a fun event. It was just very tiring because it was a 3 long days for me recording stuff, emceeing panels and Q&A sessions and stuff.
Okay, I'd like to
Hey,
turn the meeting back to Tucker. Tucker, I understand you were, and again, I know this for a fact, but you're very well rounded. You're an Army veteran, I believe. You're the only person I know that's died and come back to life.
I'm the only person
That's true. The only person I know that's actually
that you know personally.
that I know personally. Yeah.
I understand. Well, it's not that common an experience, but there's many others.
Yeah, well, like I said, you're the only person I know, and I think it's quite a story. I know that. Oh man, I think of all the movies I've seen you in, the one that had the most impact for me was Space Above and Beyond. I thought that was a great series, and I really wish that they hadn't discontinued it.
Well, I think you were in good company regarding that. It was a disappointment, but such is life. As Kurt Vonnegut loves to say, so it goes.
Well, I'll put it this way: I've got the DVD set, and it's a treasure of mine. So
I think it still holds up 20 some years later,
I do too. I agree with that.
visually as well as story wise.
Okay. I also know that you've played multiple characters in Star Trek
Well, I've played two.
too. Okay. And that was, I think the main one was on the Enterprise series.
That's correct. That was a Zendi councilman.
Okay.
And he also is in a Voyager. He played a species 8472, disguised as an admiral.
That is correct, Admiral Bullock.
Yeah, the show's dealing. That show was really interesting to see aliens play humans like that. And I thought it was very well done as well. Also, you did an episode of a government official in Babylon 5.
That is true, Mr. Ndeli.
Yeah, that's it. You whenever I see that episode and the way you portrayed his character, it seemed like you kind of were actually reading between the lines when you were, I think you were asking for the command to see the commander of the station, but whoever you were talking to said commander's not here, but you always had the inference that something's not right there, but I'm gonna go along with it anyway because I really want to see this project succeed, as opposed to failing as the other Babylon projects did.
I think among other things, such as the diversity of the cast and their various senses of humor, they were delightful people. Curiously enough, I did that a week before I began shooting Space Above and Beyond. And the creator of that series was concerned because I felt if I do that character, Mr. Ndeli, essentially as Tucker Smallwood, he's going to be too contemporary. At that time, I was doing David Hareplay, A Map of the World, and then Mr. Ndeli was I believe he's a Somalian diplomat. And I said, will you allow me to do it in accent? Because I think that will make him less contemporary. And he was concerned until he saw some of the footage and he said, yeah, go with it. So that was fun.
Very good. Yeah. And also, Tucker, I read some of your memoirs that you penned dealing with Vietnam experience, and some of those. Being a former Navy hospital corpsman, first of all, thank you for whatever you did over there.
Well, thank you for your service as a corpsman.
Nothing compared to what you did.
Not at all. They also serve who stand and wait. And the people that are among the dearest to me are the surgeon that brought me back to life and the nurse who cared for me.
Yes, we learned a lot from you guys in the field, what not to do to get shot at. But some of those experiences that you related is just like, oh my, is this for real? I mean, it's things like this actually happening over there. And going through the training that I did, it's like I'm sitting there reading about it, and I'm just doing like one of these, oh wow, unbelievable. So again, thank you for whatever you did. It was truly an experience, to put it lightly, for you grunts over there. And of course, Mac V was Mac V, right?
First in, first out, first in,
Okay.
last out, advisors.
Yeah, you guys were just like, again, one of those stories is like unbelievable. So thank you so much. Yeah. Hey, Mitya, are we gonna see you or just your picture there? Are we gonna talk with you as well over there in Slovenia or what?
Yeah, I have a microphone. I'm on mobile, but I'm in a very dark room. So
Oh, okay,
I
no
don't think you can
worries.
see me.
Yeah, we have a friend here from Russia and Slovenia here, Tucker.
Hello, Mitya.
Yeah, Kirill there in Russia. Most of the time, you can't get him to shut up. There's always questions or talking about something going on.
Hmm.
So,
Well, Hmm. Tucker, I have two questions to you. First, your favorite episode, DS9, Enterprise, 10G, whatever.
My favorite episode in any series?
Yes, in any. I mean, no, well, I mean, Star Trek episode.
Oh, I see. I see. Hmm. That's been a while. I always enjoyed working with my with Scott McDonald and Rick Worthy and Randy Oglesby. But I think the one Jolene, Jolene appeared in one of my
Jolene.
episodes. I think I may have
Oh.
enjoyed that one a great deal. She was a slippery little thing, just as svelte as she might be.
The second one, your favorite character?
I think in a television that would have to be Commodore Ross. I was essentially playing myself 25 years after the fact.
Mhm.
The same values, the same commitment to the people he commanded. Um, I think I very much respected Jim um, Wong and Glenn Morgan because they were so dedicated to getting it right. And that was at a time when we maintained recruiting stations in airports. And I was traveling a great deal then to conventions and to filming and whatnot. And I would come into an airport in some city and walk past, and men would come running out, sometimes a woman who saw me through their windows. There were glass windows inside of the airport itself. And I remember one young man come running out and saying, I watch your show every week. I make sure my son watches that show.
Hmm.
And I thanked him. And I was happy to tell people as I met with fans, they have the respect of the people that have actually done the work. And that is essentially because Jim and Glenn wanted to get it right. They respected the service of those of us who have borne arms in the defense of our country.
Hmm. Well, in new Star Trek series, I mean, Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks, Picard, and so on. In which of them would you like to? In which of them would you like to participate most of all?
Uh, Gerald, the reality is that with so many content providers today, there are quite a few things I haven't watched. I've been watching Lost in Space, which came out some time ago, and enjoyed it because Molly Parker is one of my favorite actresses. I fell in love with her work in Deadwood. And so I was so happy to see her with a role worthy of her talents. But there's a goodly amount. I haven't watched any of the new incarnations of Star Trek on various platforms. And there's several Star Trek movies I haven't seen, I'm pretty sure, and a multitude of superhero movies I haven't seen. It's just not a genre that appeals to me. I like stories about people. I like science fiction. I haven't watched Stranger Things yet. Well, I watched a couple episodes, but I haven't got it hooked on. I'm right now working through Breaking Bad, so you can see how much how much I've got to catch up. But I was a huge fan of Better Call Saul, and my brothers came to visit me a few weeks ago and said, "Well, let's start watching that." And so now I'm on. I think I'm just beginning season 3.
Okay. Who's next,
Yeah.
guys?
Tucker,
Oh,
reading your Wikipedia page, it seems like you've been a science fiction fan for a while there. How long was it that you were actually able to get your parts on Star Trek episodes?
how long?
Yeah, how long were you waiting to get those episodes from your manager? Say, hey, Tucker, I got this role for you.
In truth, those roles came about. Again, I did Babylon 5 just before I began shooting um, Space Above and Beyond. And Brandon Baga, people in the community became familiar with my work. But I've written about this, and it's only tongue in cheek to a certain extent. I've never been a very good type. There's nothing contemporary about me. There's not a lot of people that you can say, oh, yeah, he's like Tucker Smallwood or he looks like Tucker Smallwood. But people would say, well, but somebody like you might exist in the future. And that's how my career was reborn. Now, I had a very vibrant career through the 70s, and I broke down emotionally at the end of the decade and wandered for much of the 80s. I finally got help in late 80s, and I moved out here in 91 and began to work again. I've had to reinvent myself several times over the last 50 years. So I discovered a niche for me in science fiction and sitcoms. And I was fortunate enough to appear on some of the more iconic shows that continue to air in reruns all over the world. So it makes me recognizable. I don't think there's been a country I've been to or a continent I've been to where someone in the street doesn't come up and interact with me. And that's essentially because our content is distributed worldwide.
Oh, very good. And of course, another possibility, they've only had 3 seasons. They just concluded season 3 is the Orville New Horizons.
Oh, yes. I watched the first 2 seasons of that. I haven't watched the 3rd yet. I like that. I enjoyed it.
You're
there was another series. Wasn't Orville, was it? It had this actress she's an African actress, and I've seen her on a couple of other series. Was that Orville? No, I don't. No, there's another sci-fi series. What's Steve Carell? Isn't there a sci-fi series with Steve Carell?
Oh,
Space Force? Is that what it was?
Space Command.
The Space Command is one, but God, I'm seeing him on this ship that's lost in space, and it's a huge modern ship. But that's not the Orville. That's got a storyline. This is one where they're lost and they're trying to get to another planet or whatever. It's a comedy.
It's not ringing a bell.
Yeah, huh? Well, maybe it'll occur to me before we go off the air. I enjoyed it though very, very much. It was very surreal and sort of silly, and it's got jealousy and people having affairs and couples breaking up and basic fundamental human shit going on in the future in space.
Right. And the reason I mentioned the Orville is Brandon Braga.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, he's on the production staff over there.
I got this. I think I got Enterprise. I went in and read for it. Brandon cast me, and we had the cast party at the end of the season shooting. And I don't like valet parking. I've driven a stick for 34 years. I don't trust valets, and I don't think they know what the fuck to do with the clutch. And I don't like having my transmission messed with. So I chose to park. Didn't use particularly good judgment. I was invited to the after party at Brandon's, and I came out of the party at 11:30, quarter to 12, went to get my car, and it was gone. My car had been towed, and I was up until 4 o'clock in the morning getting the cash and getting a ride to the tow place to retrieve my car. And by then, it didn't make much sense for me to go to the after party. And I've always wondered whether I ripped my pants with Brandon by not accepting his invitation.
Well, if you're friends with Andre Bormanis, maybe that's no. Okay. Okay. He used to be a science advisor on TNG, I think, or one of those. And now he's again also in the production staff over there on the Orville.
I
So they
see.
have a lot of Trek alumni
I'll
over
bet.
there.
I'll bet.
Penny Johnson Gerald.
I remember Penny, of course.
Yeah, she's
Originally from that talk show, wasn't it? And then she was on 24, right?
yes, she was on.
And she was on
24.
the talk, Gary Shandling, she was on.
Oh, okay. And
That's
yeah,
where I
now
first
she's
recognized her.
and now she's a chief medical officer for the show, and she has a wonderful storyline.
Hmm.
So yeah, whenever you're able to catch season 3, you're definitely gonna like it.
What is the platform?
In Chicago, I'm watching it on Hulu.
Hulu, yeah. There's a couple I don't have. Disney and Hulu, and I mean, I've got Netflix, I've got HBO, I've got Amazon.
What about Netflix, Mike?
I'm sorry?
What's that?
Mike, and what about Netflix?
No, it's I have Netflix, but it's not on Netflix.
I see.
Just only Hulu.
You had asked me earlier about the sci-fi, and I was my dear older sister, who was 4 years older than I, Angela, taught me to read when I was 3, and she was 7. And I had a library card when I was 5, and I would go there and just sign out books by Heinlein and Asimov and Bradbury and Anderson, and I just inhaled that stuff. I loved that stuff. So there was Outer Limits and there was the Twilight Zone, but things were pretty far and few in terms of sci-fi in earlier television.
Right.
But it became, as I say, a genre thanks to what's our guy's name? Ray Bradbury. What is it? Who created Star Trek?
Roddenberry.
Roddenberry. Thank you. He gave us the Roots, which has spawned this incredible body of work.
Oh yeah. Now also acting is not your passion. Music.
Well, I've always enjoyed theater is my passion.
Okay.
I would like to have said that music is my passion, but I played some guitar last night for about an hour. I haven't touched my guitars in 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
My therapist and I are talking about it, why I don't play golf or play my guitars. I have some beautiful instruments. I think it may have been part of it, watching so many wonderful musicians like John Mayer and saying, you've been playing before he was born, Tucker. You will never be that good. And I think, some part of me said, what's the point? But the reality is I enjoyed it. And there were people in my life that enjoyed it. And it wasn't about me having to compete with John Mayer or anyone else. I can't even read music. It was simply doing it for the joy of it. And I seem to have maybe broken through that shell. I hope so. And will be playing, if just for myself.
Well, just going back for you, it's 1984, being in the Cotton Club with all those wonderful actors from back then, and from guys not in the USA, the Cotton Club was a hot spot for Black entertainment. Now, I don't know the full history, Tucker, of the Cotton Club, but a lot of early Black performers from, correct me if I'm wrong, the 20s or 30s, like Cab Calloway, giants of jazz like that. Did they not appear also at the Cotton Club?
They did indeed, because they, by and large, could not appear at white clubs.
Anywhere else.
They worked
right.
in France and in Europe, Edna Mae Robinson was one of the dancers at the Cotton Club. That was Sugar Ray Robinson's wife. I met her when we were filming. I was on the set when she first walked in, and they had taken the blueprint from the Cotton Club itself and built it on that sound stage. And I just saw her stop in amazement. It was like walking into her past by 50 or 60 years. It was stunning. But I would encourage you, if you enjoyed the film, to see Francis Coppola's re-editing of it. It's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. It is the movie he would have made if the mob hadn't been breathing down his throat in those days.
Right.
The movie became The Godfather Goes to Harlem.
Yeah.
But what the film The Cotton Club is captured in this new re-editing, and it's just beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Just
Okay.
beautiful.
And yeah, it's pretty much like one spot for Black entertainment from Broadway and all those white clubs that all the white
Vaudeville.
millionaires went.
There was so much from vaudeville, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And you'll see some of the acts in this re-edit that you didn't see. What was heartbreaking, I was on that film for 6 months. And what was heartbreaking is there were dancers who worked for weeks and never appeared in that first cut. And there were musicians who were among the best musicians in New York and California who were playing to a track. They weren't playing live.
Oh, wow.
It's just, it's very surreal in that sense. But again, I encourage you to screen the re-edit.
Yeah.
And additionally, I'm all over the re-edit because my life was in the Cotton Club, and very little of the Cotton Club actually turned up in the Cotton Club, the original take.
And again, it's a part of American history, a performance history that people should know about, where all this talent was showcased, but the majority of America did not know about it because of the color of their skin, which is
well, the musicians knew about it, the cognoscenti knew about it. I mean, the history of it. Woody Strode played the doorman. Woody Strode's work you probably know from Spartacus and many other films. He was playing a real person. Kid Griffin, my character, was the first character I'd ever played who was older than I. I put on about 15 pounds. He was a boxer who became the maitre d' of the Cotton Club, and very little happened in that club he wasn't on top of. He ran the Cotton Club.
Okay.
The people playing Oni Madden, the Fred Gwynn and Bob.
We've got 10 minutes, guys.
I'm sorry?
They're just giving us a 10-minute warning. We've got
Okay.
So this could be a very abrupt ending, which usually is.
Well, no worries. Anyway, was there something else you guys wanted to ask me about?
What would you like to start? Do you want to continue with the Trek franchise, or branch out into anything else?
Mike, the reality is I had a TIA about 4 years ago. 8 years ago, I did a play by Cormac McCarthy, the only play he wrote, The Sunset Limited. It's a one-act play, 120 pages, 98 minutes, only 2 characters. Mine doesn't ever leave the stage, and he has 70% of the dialogue. I had no problem with that, but I'm at a point in my life. You remember seeing a picture of me with Ray Walston, yes? In Voyager?
Yeah.
Okay. Ray Walston, lovely man, my favorite Martian, was at the end of his career. I worked with several people who were at the end of their career, and they worked with huge white boards with their dialogue written on it and large black magic markers. And the reality is, if you don't get your shot by noon, you're not going to get your shot. They hit that wall. And I always promised myself, I will not stay too long at the fair. Those instances are very difficult on the crew and the other actors around you. You care for that person, you don't want to see them embarrass themselves. But some of us get to a point in life and we just can't do it anymore, any more than we can stuff a basketball. And
Right.
so there are things that we can do. I can mentor. I can do small things in emerging artist project. And those are very satisfying to me. But my, that time has come and gone for me.
Okay. Well, if the powers align, let us see you on screen again. That would be perfect. But with your body of work that you have created, and it's all in our collective consciousness right now, then we are truly gifted by all of your talent, your writings, your just everything that you've done.
That's very
And-
kind, Mike. I am at the moment engaged. I had a web page for, I don't know, 15, 18 years. I began writing. I found my form to be the essay because when I entered therapy with my therapist who helped me get through PTSD, he said, I want you to write down everything you can remember about Vietnam. Don't judge it, don't censor it, just write it down. And I began doing that. And I learned, as much as I love good fiction, I don't think I write it very well. But I have had a very colorful life and I can describe it with truth. And so the essay became my medium of expression. And over the years, I've written quite a few. Now, they were included in a blog on my original website. I took it down about a year and a half ago saying, you can find out anything about me on Google you want. But I missed having an outlet for some of those pieces. And so a good friend of mine who was incredibly computer savvy was kind enough to recreate on a space, a place I could enter, cut and paste, include pictures. And so it's tuckersmallwood.com. It's up now. I'm moving through the learning curve of how to cut and paste and how to put in a picture. There's maybe 9 or 10 on there now. There'll be 8 or 9 added each day until, a few hundred of them are up there. So you'll remember that, tuckersmallwood.com.
Indeed, yeah. Oh, before we go, I just want to say our friend in Israel there, Gil, wave to Tucker. There he is. So you reach out to Israel, Slovenia, and Russia today, Tucker.
Okay. Now, wait, tell me about Slovenia. What was Slovenia 50 years ago?
It was part of Yugoslavia.
Okay, because I drove through Yugoslavia from Zagreb to Belgrade and on to Greece. My father was a Fulbright professor in 1955. And I remember transitioning from Trieste in Italy to Zagreb. And I went from this Italian countryside of it was green and it was charming to this gray institutional architecture under Tito. And I remember being in my hotel in Belgrade. I'm 11 years old. And I walked out on the balcony and I looked, and in every direction, at every corner, there was a policeman. And I realized what was meant by police state in that moment. That was 1955.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're part of the European Union now, so it's pretty much different.
I understand.
But the countryside is still beautiful. So
well, I would love to return. I would love to return.
Okay.
You mentioned you do you mentor. Do you mentor through any organizations or anything like that?
Well, I mentor a number of younger veterans who are interested in evolving or transitioning into the arts. I work with veterans who are struggling emotionally, and I advocate for them for their treatment and encourage them to get the treatment, get treatment. So those are the kind of people I mentor, and graduate students can come to me with a thesis film or whatnot. There's a young woman who just got her PhD from Texas Tech, a young Vietnamese woman who immigrated here to America, did her thesis on the advisory effort in Vietnam. I enjoy that. I enjoy feeling useful.
I understand. I work for an organization in Cincinnati that runs a mentoring program for inner city youth.
Well, I was a big brother years ago, and I was a mentor to a young man for a while out here. My little brother is now a very successful investment advisor, and remains in touch with me.
Yeah.
All right, I think we
Making a
have
difference in people's lives. That's the most fulfilling thing, I think.
I think you're right. Aside from having a family.
okay. I think we have less than a minute here. We might be getting cut off fairly soon there. Paul, can you confirm that or not?
I don't have the time. I got a notification saying we had 10 minutes left.
I am.
It says 1 minute and 9 seconds at the top of my thing. Oh, minute 5.
Oh, okay.
Or
So your Zoom room is bounded
guys, I
by
can
a
hear
time
you.
frame, is that right?
I'm not paying for it. This is free.
Oh, I understand. I don't pay for it either, but I thought you got an hour.
No, they give you 40 minutes.
I understand. Well, I've enjoyed meeting with all of you, and I hope you continue to find good science fiction that engages you.
One, 2, 3. Can somebody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Because I am not, or I hear you very slowly.
Oh, okay. Well, on behalf of all of us, Tucker, thank you for taking the time on your Sunday morning to talk with us, share with us your thoughts and your memories. And we hope to see your hand in entertainment in the future, so we can appreciate your work more.
Thank you very much. You're all kind. For all be well.